Speaking of things I want to draw and things that dropped off today, the new Masters of the Universe trailer dropped.
It's got nothing to do with drawing. Your segues are terrible.
My segues are fabulous.
Hello and welcome to my last ever episode of Code and Colour in my 20s. Josh.
Terrible.
Well, it's true!
Here we discuss all things video games, animation and digital drawing.
I am for the last time, 29-year-old Tyler.
Oh, that's what he was like cueing me in. I was just like purely disgusted by that.
I know, I was like, Josh, for our purely audio listeners, thinking like, why is it gone silent?
Silent judgment, that's what it was. And I am your already 2 years into my 30s. Yeah, Josh, you know.
Yeah, I know, and you are not giving me hope.
You look as good as me in the next 2 years. You'll be doing well.
Behave. How have you been, buddy?
Legs down. Good. Yeah. I've been busy doing some drawing. I've been playing a lot of video games and watching a lot of TV shows. And I will go into those right now because that sounds like very like, oh yeah, you've been doing that. Are you going to go into those? Yeah. So I've been playing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
Actually, before you get into how you getting on with Horizon?
Oh, we don't talk about that.
No, we do, because in the space of a week, you lot will be as surprised as I am. Josh has decided he no longer likes the game.
Right, so segue. My love for Horizon stems from the first game, and the first game is really
understandably good. The first game is fantastic,
but the story in the first game is boring. Like, it's just generally a boring sort of game, but like the exploration of Horizon is its strong suit. Like, you go to certain areas, it's like desert.
Mechanics as well.
Yeah,
like it's a fun game.
Yeah, jungle
and the combat.
Yeah, everything's really good, and you know, there's like things to collect and things to look for, and doing like, you know, you go to these different parts, and it's all these like, oh, there's a Thunderjaw over there, big T-Rex dinosaur thing, great, made out of like robot parts. Obviously, people that haven't played it, it's a game about in the future about dinosaurs that are made out of robots, dinosaurs, and you essentially have to sort of like survive in this wilderness, and you know, you've got a bow and arrow, and there's like no guns or anything, or you pull guns off the monsters, but it's really, really well done. It's really, really pretty. Now, second game is essentially the same thing, but prettier.
Is it like mechanically different? Is there like new things you can do?
I can't go into spoilers. I got to, honestly, where I dipped out, it actually started to get quite interesting story-wise. I was like, oh,
you were playing it for a while.
I was like, oh, this is cool. But like when I'd play it, I'd be like, oh god, like. And the problem is I was so OP at the end of Horizon. I had the armor that was like the Dreamweaver armor or something that give you a shield. So anything you attacked, you got a shield like Halo. You were a beast. Like, I just could not die, and like I was just an absolute dominating beast. And now I'm just like starting again, and I'm like, oh, yes, it looks really pretty. It is arguably the prettiest game I've ever played. Like, it is so phenomenally well made. I can't take that away, but it's just so. Oh, right, okay, I've got to climb this thing again, and I've got to open the map by climbing the tall neck things, and then I've got to. Them puzzles are upgraded. I've done one of them, but you have to like turn a satellite, like, you know, Magneto of X-Men. You have to like turn the satellite to climb on board it, and it has its own like puzzle with a battery in that. That was quite cool. Yeah. But just generally, I'm like, oh, this is kind of boring. So I then jumped off that because I was like, I'm just not feeling it. Like, and I probably will go back to it, but I've kind of been picking up other things since. So I jumped into
Ratchet & Clank.
Jumped into Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, you know, and I keep trying to get Tyler to play it. So now it's documented. Tyler can play it. It is I've said this to Tyler all along. It is Spider-Man's team is the people that make it. And you can see the Spider-Man money that's on the screen, and imagine like just a really good mess around shooter, a beautifully made game. Like, it's just really, really good, and it really takes I can see sort of like things from Spider-Man, from Ratchet and Clank. Obviously, they do the rift apart where you jump through the different dimensions. Like that's obviously a thing that's in Spider-Man. Like they just touch on it a little bit, but they use the power of the PS5 to really sort of just. There's some certain things where like there's a level where you're on a moon or like a planet thing, and when you land on the place, it's all gone to hell. Like it looks horrible, but you whack this crystal. Instantly the world changes to another dimension of that same world, but like working like a drilling refinery. And like but instantaneous, no load screens, nothing. It's just boom, straight there, and you just like a whole world just completely changed, and you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. So I've been playing that.
Insomniac have revolutionised a lot of mechanics in terms of how fast the game can move now.
Yeah, well, I think that Ratchet and Clank was like the tech demo for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, and Spider-Man 2's like, I put it to the test several times. I was expecting it to be delayed. It just isn't. It's instant. It's instant.
So it's ridiculous. Like it's got fast travel, and I'm like, why?
I actually ended up using the fast travel a lot.
Yeah,
because New York is massive this time. Like obviously, there's 2 islands this time, right? And if you're up in the Bronx, but you need to be down in Brooklyn. It's like, that's a long way. Do you know what I mean?
But it is fun to swing.
Yeah, it is fun. And so a lot of the time I would do it. But when I was like, especially when I'd finished well, actually, we'll get into it in a bit. Yeah. But yeah.
And then recently, I've played Cyberpunk. I was playing that.
You have,
today.
Josh has never played it before.
Well, I have played it. I only ever get to one point in it. There's a point where you're in the diner with the Japanese guy, and Johnny pops up and he's like, I always get to that bit and I'm just like, oh, ball, turn it off. And I'm like, no, I'm going to actually go through it because I keep seeing videos of like being like a cyber samurai kind of thing, and I'm like, I'm going to go for that vibe. So I'm going to do something along them lines. And that's it really. I've been drawing a few things and colouring a few things in. Nothing major. I've not finished anything yet, so I won't show it off. I think that's about
Busy boy.
it. Yeah, I've just been like watching things. We finished that Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Yeah, me too.
Which was really good. I don't know if I mentioned that last week. I'm sure. I don't think I've watched it in between. I don't know. It's been a long week. There are long weeks.
We didn't mention it last week because it was my recommendation.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fair. But yourself, how have you been?
Not too shabby.
I
finished Spider-Man, but we are going to be talking about that later. And I've done everything you can do on that game. There's not a single thing that I need to do left. I played a lot of Fortnite because I'm a slave to Epic Games. Finished Blue Eye. Getting super hyped that I finally have a Pokemon Concierge trailer. Finally. We've had a lot of anime because obviously Netflix had Geek Week. We've had a lot being shown. And then Disney out of nowhere as well dropped What If.
And Inside Out too.
What If Season 2. Oh, Inside Out, that all came out. Honestly, it's been a big week for animation and I'm loving every second of it. And we've had the Game of the Year in nominations as well. But before we get into that, Josh has a few thoughts and feelings about What If Season 2, don't you?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring up my little thing there. What a nice segue. I like it. Almost seems like we're professionals.
42 episodes in, Josh. You'd think we are.
We're nearly there, aren't we? So I'm a bit concerned. It didn't look great. Like, I'm going to watch it because
it looks terrible.
It didn't look amazing. It didn't really like catch my eye. Like, I think the episode from the first season with Gamora and Tony is in season 2, which they didn't put in season 1, which is fine. I'm all right for that. But like, generally the things that popped up, I was like, okay, is it like there's the new Avengers? Is Hank Pym now the actual proper Ant-Man? And like, there's all these different things. But the main gripe I have with it is they're releasing the episodes over 9 days, which for a fan, that's cool. But start as you mean to go on. If the first season should have done that. Like if your second season is 9 days,
it's not very consistent, is it?
I
I think we found. So what I'm finding quite interesting at the moment is, if you'd have asked me 6 months ago, I'd have said Netflix are on their way out. Right? Netflix had a. I think we both agree Netflix for a while went a bit stale. It seemed like Netflix were like, I don't know what to do. Like they're running out of things. It's now it feels like Disney are having that a little bit. It's feeling like Disney Plus has had no major releases for a while now, like other than Loki, and Loki kind of. Although, to be fair, the last episode has been getting a lot. I've not watched the final episode yet, but it's been getting a lot of rave reviews, like the latest season of Loki. But it's dropped off the face of the earth now, and them releasing that over 9 days. So essentially, it's 9 episodes, 1 episode each day for 9 days. And it's almost seemed Christmas themed as well, which I don't like. There was a lot of Christmas influence in the trailer. Didn't like that. I think it was a desperate ploy to have people on Disney over Christmas, because Netflix are releasing so much over the next few weeks. Like, it's insane, and a lot of animation as well for a man such as myself and Josh as well. To be fair, who have over the year have become massively into animation. We are eating good. You are correct. We've got Tomb Raider coming out. We've got Pokemon Concierge. We've just had Blue Eye Samurai. Yes, it was pretty crap, but we also have just had Captain Laserhawk as well. And amongst other things that are coming out as well.
Devil May Cry.
Yes, there's what else? There was something else that I saw that I liked the trailer on Netflix as well, but I can't remember.
Onimusha has come out as well. A lot of video game adaptations.
Yep, loving it. And I think it will be. Oh, and Netflix announced they're doing a Terminator anime.
Yeah,
that is going to be sick.
Wild.
Yeah. So I just think Netflix have finally found a rhythm again. I think Geek Week really helped them. We also got a trailer for like the live action Avatar, which. I know it's not relevant to what we do here, but I'm still on the fence. Yeah, so there's been a lot, and we've also going back to what we did. We had the Game of the Year awards, and I've just thought of a really fun little game we could do as a slight little icebreaker. So it won't take too long, but why don't we talk about the Game of the Year awards?
Sure.
So we've just had the Game of the Year nominations, and I thought, why don't we do something a little bit more exciting? I'm going to test Josh on his knowledge of video games, because he is, out of the two of us, the gaming sort of knowledge man. He's definitely more knowledgeable in that area than me. But what I'm going to do, so I'm going to give you every nomination each year for starting with 2014, and I want you to tell me who won.
Okay.
And I'm not going to be like, I'll give you the answers at the end. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
So 2014, that's the first one. So we've got Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, Dragon Age Inquisition, Bayonetta 2, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Correct. I was not expecting you to say that, and I would not have picked that out of them. I really liked Shadow of Mordor. 2015, Fallout 4, Bloodborne, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, Super Mario Maker. That's a hell of a year.
That is a hell of a year, but it's Witcher 3.
It is Witcher 3. You know your stuff. 2016, arguably one of the weaker years for me. Inside, Overwatch, Doom, Titanfall 2, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
I think it might be Inside.
It's Overwatch.
Oh, it was going to be that or Uncharted for me. Yeah.
No, it was Overwatch.
My brother's going to be fuming.
Cool. Breath of the Wild. This is 2017. Breath of the Wild. Horizon Zero Dawn. PUBG. Super Mario Odyssey and Persona 5.
Breath of the Wild.
It is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
2018. Again, another monster year.
God of War.
Yes, but the other nominees were Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, Spiderman, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead 2. So again, big year. Big year. 2019, arguably a weak year for me as well. Death Stranding, Control, Sekiro, Resident Evil 2, The Outer Worlds, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
I think it's Sekiro, but it might be Outer Worlds.
It is Sekiro.
Oh yeah.
2020, a great year. Hades, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Doom Eternal, The Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Great year. Despite everything else that happened that year.
Last of Us?
It was Last of Us.
Yeah.
I think Tsushima was snubbed.
Yeah.
But there
100%.
we go. 2021. This one, bang average. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village.
I think It Takes Two.
And you would be correct.
Yeah.
This one is right. So final one, and you're going to know the answer straight away. A Plague Tale Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Elden Ring, and Xenoblade Chronicle 3.
Elden Ring.
Yeah. I cannot believe Stray got nominated. I mean, I loved it. It's a fantastic little game.
I need to play
yeah. It is great. And then bring us on to 2023. We've had Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Spider-Man, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
So before we get into it, which one do you think should win? Bear in mind, we've not played a lot of them. Which one would you say
I'm torn.
Deserved it?
And I'm sure you know which two I'm torn between. I mean,
Baldur's
given
Gate.
that I've actually only played 2 out of this list.
Baldur's Gate's one of them.
No, I'm torn between Tears and Spider-Man.
Really?
I think Baldur's Gate probably is going to win it.
Is Tears of the Kingdom a nomination?
Yeah, Tears is a nomination.
Oh, okay.
So my two guesses are Spider-Man and Tears. I really think Spider-Man is going to do a good job. Like, although it didn't win the last time it was nominated, Spider-Man, I just think Spider-Man 2 is in a league of its own.
Yeah, I think.
But we'll talk about Spider-Man in a bit. Why don't we leave Spider-Man for now? Because we are going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
Alan Wake, I've not played it. I really want to play it, but it has only just come out, so cut me some slack. Baldur's Gate 3, I mean, it was a sleeper hit, right? Nobody saw it coming.
I think that's why
it came out. Yeah, I think I can see it being between. I don't actually know if Spider-Man will win, but I think it will be between Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom.
I think for me with Baldur's Gate, yes, it is a sleeper hit, but I think it's the gold standard of how a game should arrive. Like,
and we said this
unpolished
way back, didn't we?
When a thing of the past after this, like they drop this game and it's just a complete package. And I think that's
a lot of other for a game that nobody knew was coming, right? And the last game was a long time ago. Baldur's Gate came out and set, you're right, the gold standard for how not only a fantasy game should work, but how a finished game should look. There's no kind of day one. Well, there probably was day one patch, but there was no like we'll update it later down the line and we'll fix a few. It was ready to go, and I think that's probably because it came out of nowhere. They weren't working against the time. There was no pressure. They just did it, right? That they spent years on it, and there it is. And honestly, I would rather that. I would rather they just didn't announce the game, finished it, and went, oh, by the way, we're releasing this and it comes out in like a week. I'd be like, hell yeah. I mean, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, I have to admit, I was surprised at. Like,
Odyssey,
why?
Yes. Wonder,
Smash Bros. Totally, yeah,
I'm not,
totally.
It's been and gone.
I love Smash Bros.
I've never played it,
but Mario Bros. Wonder. I mean, I have to admit, I forgot it even came out. And this is a good thing and also I think Resident Evil 4 being a remake, I think but then again, Final Fantasy VII had the same thing, right? I think it's a bit of a cop out when you had games like Hogwarts Legacy, Starfield, which, although I'm not a massive, I know this is going to seem really out there, but I've decided I don't like Starfield as much as I thought I did. And we had Jedi Survivor this year. 3 massive Titan games, 2 of them which I absolutely adored playing. Like, Josh, you were obsessed with Hogwarts when it came out. You've not played Jedi Survivor yet, bit disappointing, but both amazing games, and I can't believe they were overlooked. And a remake and a Super Mario game.
I think
got the nom.
I think, to be fair, I think they all should be snubbed, because the real winner of 2023 is the fact that we're getting a GTA 6 trailer. Just saying,
Josh. So that's
saying.
going to be next year's. That's going to be next year's winner.
The trailer alone should win Game of the Year. Just like, I'm so excited. But yeah, moving on. No, I agree. I think there are better nominations out there. Like, for me, it's what a game does for a franchise. And I was saying this to Tyler when we were talking about Hogwarts Legacy.
Mario didn't need this nomination. It's the biggest selling animated film of the year.
Yeah, we didn't need it at all. But like Hogwarts Legacy, when the author's like ripping your entire property and IP apart, Hogwarts Legacy came in and went, here's this really, really fun experience in that world of that author. And it's great. And everybody loved it, and they were just...
I think Hogwarts' problem is it came out too early this year.
Oh, interesting.
It came out in January. And so it was massive when it came out, right? Everyone was like, Hogwarts! For those that are remembered, one of our early guests, Lucy, who is not a gamer, bought an Xbox just to play Hogwarts. And that is it. I don't think she's... that is credit to its power. But because it came out in January, and then we've had Titans all year, Hogwarts has just been sort of brushed under the carpet.
I feel like Starfield was very much like the Hogwarts of like Bethesda, where it was like when Hogwarts trailer dropped and it was like, you can do this and you can do this and you can do this and you can do this.
The trouble, Starfield's problem was if it didn't have Spiderman coming out like a month later, I think it would have done well. But Spider-Man came out and proved that quality is better than quantity. Yes, they added more to the map, but I even said to you when I started playing Spider-Man 2 that, again, we'll talk about Spider-Man in a bit. But yeah, Spider-Man was Starfield's biggest problem, and that's why I think it was snubbed. Jedi Survivor, again, came out just before after Tears of the Kingdom. Just before Tears of the Kingdom. So, yeah, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's been a good year to be a gamer, right?
I know why it was snubbed.
To be fair, the real winner was Season, A Letter to the Future. But
I know why it was snubbed. Star Wars. Because it had a horrible PC release.
Yeah, that's probably... Yeah, you might be right, to be fair. Yeah.
It's not very Game of the Year when all you main people who want to play it can't play it properly.
Yeah, there's a fly buzzing around.
When Tears of the Kingdom, yet another nomination dropped, that was polished. Yeah, to a shine.
Polished. And Alan Wake, I haven't played it, but people are saying it's what PT should have been when PT was dropped. For God rest its soul.
I'm not a huge Remedy fan in the sense without Alan Wake. Like, Control.
What else have they done, Remedy?
Control, Alan Wake, the Max Payne games.
They make very much Game of the Year games because Control obviously was nominated back in whenever it was out. I can't remember, 2019, I think it was. Yeah, 2019. Yeah, Alan Wake. I mean, I do want to play it though. I'm intrigued to play it. For me, I just think the two that I would have replaced was Resident and Super Mario. Like, I know RE4 was a fantastic release and people loved it, and it's actually one of our recommendations. Not by us, by our lovely friend Sedge. But I think, I don't know, I would have preferred to have seen Hogwarts, at least. I think Hogwarts deserved it, because it was
they put in the work.
A game like no other. Like, it was fantastic. And it was so fun. And again, wasn't a broken experience. And they've just released like the trailers for all the Nintendo version, and it looks fantastic even on the Switch.
Yeah.
I am under no illusion though that every Switch is going to sound like you're running a fan.
And diesel
what I mean?
engine.
Yeah, literally, you're gonna leave. You're gonna be to play your Switch. You're gonna go. Woo, woo, woo. But the final nomination, and obviously we are dying to talk about it, is Spider-Man 2, and we've been putting it off, and it's my fault because I got it later, but I think I've now done more of that game than Josh has. I've done everything, and I'm dying to talk about it. So this week we are going to be talking about Spider-Man. So Josh, shall we get the bloody hell into it?
Let's get into it.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2. It's been about, what, 3 weeks since it came out? And it's the 6th nomination of Game of the Year this year.
Deservedly so.
And deservedly. As a personal preference, I would give that Game of the Year. But I don't make that decision. Or I would give it to Letter. What would you give it to? Tears of the Kingdom?
No, I would give the first one. Game of the Year.
Okay.
It's better.
Oh yeah, actually, what would you, if you had to choose, what would you nominate? What would you have as the winner this year? You didn't tell me that. Really.
Just quick. Probably Tears.
Yeah, I thought you would. But we're going to be talking about Spider-Man, so get over it.
Tears blow my mind. Like, Spider-Man's great.
Spider-Man, we're done with Tears now. Spider-Man 2 came out 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago? Nearly a month ago now. No, I think it was a month ago. Came out about the 19th of October, I think. Yeah. And by the time this episode drops, it will have been a month. So it's been about a month now. Sorry, we would have talked about it a lot sooner. We planned to talk about it last week, but I hadn't finished it yet, and Josh wanted me to have finished it.
Yeah, I want our listeners to know I had this finished and done. He's had a week on this extra to get it done.
Yeah, but I've done it now.
I was committed to our users and getting it done.
What is your problem?
I couldn't talk to you. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Like, no one.
That's not my fault that you pick up a game and go, I must finish it in 10 minutes.
I just want to save the story. And I'm like,
but dude, there's to be fair, that was a roller coaster.
Oh yeah,
that was a roller coaster.
Like from the get-go.
We're not going to be really talking about the story because we don't really do that here. But the story is fantastic. Josh is not in agreement with me, but he can get over it, or in the bin. You can either get over it or in the bin. That's up to you. But let's look at it from a more sort of visual and a mechanical standpoint. It is. Let's start with creative. The sort of the visual, right? It is arguably one of the most beautiful games you've ever seen, right? And for me, the thing that really blew me away is for the first time I think I saw the true potential of the PS5. And the reason that I did, and it's so simple, but when you're on top of like tall buildings. I feel like I can see a lot more of New York than I could on the PS4 versions of those games.
You can.
You can see a lot further afield. And it's like, holy crap. And the world feels like New York feels busier. And feels like stuff is happening. Like, it feels like it's got a bit more character to it this time. A bit like how we were saying with like GTA and Red Dead. New York felt like a bit of a character this time. And I think it's because the map kind of changes a lot. Like obviously at the start of the game, spoiler alert going forward, by the way, half of like top of New York or the bottom of New York is covered in sand. So there's nobody there. And then obviously you go through the kind of what?
No, I was just like, I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
Because the Sandman. Yeah. The Sandman, who is, which is a fantastic opening to a game, by the way, but we'll get there. And then obviously when Venom's I really like the way they did Venom in this game because they did say they were doing a very unique take on Venom, and I really enjoyed it. You are giving me an interesting look. I've
said this off air, but like when your whole game's marketed around one guy and for him to show up in the third act, no, thank you.
But the third act lasts so long. Yeah,
but it's like...
And I don't think he did just turn up at the last minute when Peter Parker is Spider-Man, symbiote Spider-Man for the majority of the game.
But it's like, when they did the original trailer, it was like Venom appears in the shadows and it's Miles Morales, you've got Craven's voice in the background, Miles Morales, you got Peter Parker fighting fighting the bad guys, and then you hear Venom's voice and you see a flash of Venom, and it's like Venom. The black suit is teased, and yes, you do get the black suit nigh on straight away. Like you've got a few hours before you get it, but you do get it.
But then you lose it as well.
And then you do lose it, but like your whole marketing is hinged on the fact that Venom is in your game. And like, yes, while Venom does appear in points at different versions of Venom, and obviously evil Spider-Man and X, and that sort of thing, Venom should have been second acting. Venom is here, and he is a presence.
Right. Can I be devil's advocate, Tin Hat?
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean,
the world is ended.
Yeah. So, I think this is a very greedy personal gripe of your own.
Ooh, interesting.
And not actually a problem with the game. Because I think, not that we talk about story here, but in terms of the development of this world and the characters around you, the story is paced very well.
It's really good.
Like,
it is.
It is a roller coaster, but it beats are always landing. I keep thinking it can't get worse, and it gets worse. Those two, bless them, Peter and Miles, go through the absolute ringer. Probably Peter more than Miles, obviously. Go through the absolute ringer in this game, and I think Venom, if he'd have come in too soon, it would have been too chaotic.
Yeah,
because Craven got introduced probably about at the start of the second act. Craven gets introduced. Probably the end of the first act. Craven's like properly introduced, right?
Well, we have his scene in the forest, don't we? We have that really early.
Yeah, but that comes at the end of the first act. That doesn't happen straight away.
You beat Sandman. Who else have you beat?
Oh yes, okay. So it is pretty much the start of the first act, but then you don't see him,
yeah,
right?
No, you don't come
so you see that thing, but then you don't
it.
see him, right? And then Craven comes in, and Craven's presence for a man that's got no power, right? He's just a crazy Eastern Europe man. That is all he is. He's just a crazy Eastern European. That is all he is, right? And his sole purpose is hunting for sport because, spoiler alert, he's dying. And he wants to make sure he does not fear death. He wants to die, but he wants to die to someone that's worthy of it. And I think he comes in, and because he has no fear, and because he likes the thrill of the chase and the potential that he might get his ass kicked, he's just so threatening and menacing.
Formidable.
And then Venom, when he's introduced in the third act, when Venom is introduced, he makes Craven look like a bloody ant on the floor. Right? They're just a piece of dirt that you could just kick off your shoe. And that is testament to the pacing of this game. Venom is like, he's in it for me the right amount. And I thought, hell yeah. And being able to play as Venom as well, oh my God.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I did not know if we were going to get to play as Venom. There was speculation. It was never confirmed. Glad I avoided that spoiler. Yeah, I've spoken a lot. Josh, go.
So I have some things with Spider-Man 2. I do like it, and I think it's a really phenomenal game. And it's like saying like, no. I also have some issues with the marketing as well. With in terms of like the the demo they showed off, the gameplay demo where you're chasing the lizard, and it's a great thing. It's an awesome thing. But I think if you really like, and I know that they didn't need to, but if they really wanted to sell the game and show the actual power of this game, they should have done the Sandman bit. Because that is for me, like, I remember when God of War 3 dropped, and the whole thing about that game is you fight a boss as big as a mountain. You are literally an ant to his fingernail. Like, that's how big it is.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
That Sandman, that whole segment with Sandman
could have been chopped.
It was a bit long. I think it was a bit too long, but it was very like epic. Yeah. And I think if they did that as a trailer, and then it was the first thing that you do, people would have gone, "Oh, well." Like I was excited for that, and it's done already.
Exactly, but that has a double effect. Like that has a different effect for me because I would go, "Wow." Like going after the Kratos thing and the God of War thing, their big thing was like you fight a boss that's as big as you're a tiny ant against his thumbnail, and when you finally see Kronos, he is ginormous, and you can see the PS3 is going to take off because there's so much like processing power going to do this, and this just gave me the vibes straight away. And when I started playing the Sandman battle, I was like, oh my god, where does it go from here? And that's
And-
the vibe I think it would have given, rather than like
just got-
it just gets bigger. It gets bigger. It gets more awesome, and all these different things are introduced. But I think Sandman as a tech demo, I mean, you could have cut pieces out of it to sort of fit like a 15-minute demo or whatever it may be. And like when he gets thrown, when Miles gets thrown through a building into the other side of New York by Sandman, and it's just straight in back into it, and you go there. That alone shows the absolute power of the PS5. And like just that transition straight in, he's swinging, he's bouncing back off, he's firing back towards Sandman, and he's straight back into the battle like nothing had happened, no cuts, nothing. That for me, I would have gone, that is the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, mate. Miles
and I think that would have been a really good sort of tech demo for it. Story is well paced. I do like the fact that you do fight Kraven, and he is a beast to kill. And then when you fight him as Venom, he's a pushover. Like he's so easy to kill.
It is testament to Venom's pure raw power.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
I like the Harry Peter dynamic. I like the fact that Harry knew who Peter was straight away, because they have like the Coney Island scene where he's just like Harry Peter, and that I think we're done with the age of like, oh, I've got a secret identity, you can't know who I am. I think Iron Man killed that for everybody.
So many people knew who Peter was in that game.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of things in there where it was like, oh, this is cool. Like, Lizard's battle where he's, gets bigger and bigger as he goes along. And then Mary Jane, when you fight her, a Scream,
Oh, mate, that I did not know Scream was going to
coming.
be in it, and she was amazing.
Yeah,
that was such an amazing fight. Like at the fights, like because Lizard's like the first real, but other than like you have Sandman, but then you don't really have a boss fight for a while, and then it's Lizard, and then they just don't stop coming. Either.
Yeah, you have like 2 or 3 boss battles in one, don't you?
I really do.
I do think
and Lizard, I was like, oh, it's kind of easy.
Yeah,
I was like, it's annoying, but then Scream, Craven, Peter.
Yeah,
when you're as Miles and you have to fight as Peter, it was so hard. I enjoyed the Martin Lee fight. I really did enjoy the Martin, because then you go through the whole in your mind thing. Oh,
I do think that some of the boss battles did stay beat too long, and because they were quite hard, I was like, come on,
Which one?
Scream was a bit too long.
Yeah, actually, because it was 4.
Yeah,
it was 4
at 3 stages.
sections.
The old Mario tray get hit by
yeah.
three times and you're out. 3 different stages, I'm happy with. When I'm going to 4, I'm like, right, come on now, I'm done with this. Like, my attention span's going, and like she's like, oh, you're a terrible boyfriend, you're this, you're that, and I'm like,
it was a good fight, but it was also very inconsequential.
Yeah,
like as soon as it was over, they were just back to normal.
Yeah, symbiote's on the floor dying and doing its own thing and not like going on over place.
Yeah.
I do like the way that, and I think we can get into it at the end, like how this sets up the next game, with like certain side missions and how it's going to be. One of the gripes, and we both share this gripe, is Norman's reaction to Spider-Man.
Can I tell everyone?
Yeah, go on, you get into it.
Because it was my big problem with this game. Right. So, at the end of the game, right, it's obvious, they're teasing Green Goblin, and I think it's going to be amazing. And I think Josh and I are in agreement that we hope they go for more Defoe kind of vibes, Spider-Man, Goblin, on the glider, rather than sort of the giant Goblin vibes. Although I wouldn't mind. I don't mind either way. But I think I do want the glider.
Got that with the Lizard, though. I think.
Yeah, and we had
Glider's
Sandman and Venom.
Yeah,
they were both massive, right? So Norman.
Could we have both?
Norman's reaction, huh?
Could we have both?
Nah, I doubt it. Maybe it might be a stage thing. I could see that happening.
Like you fight him as a goblin and a glider, and then at the end of the game he's like some hulking goblin.
It's
thing.
like a metaphor for how angry he is. He just gets bigger. But Norman's reaction, right? So in the third act, when Harry basically is completely taken over by the Venom symbiote, Norman then calls upon the 2 Spideys, like, please help him. To which they do, right? And they work bloody hard to help Harry, right? To get him out of the symbiote. And then do you know what they do? They get him out of the symbiote. And do you know what they then do? Keep him alive. He doesn't die. Harry. Well, we don't see Harry die. So if he does die, it's happened off screen. But as far as we're aware, Harry doesn't die. Imagine he's gonna, oh, actually, I've had a thought, but I'll finish this right. And then I don't know why, but Norman is unhappy with the way this has gone out and has decided that Spider-Men are the villains.
Yeah, even though...
And he's like, I want them dead. What have you done? And they're like, I was watching this going, you asked for our help and we helped you. He didn't die. What? Like, there literally wasn't a better outcome.
Yeah.
But Norman's gone, what have you done? And I'm like, honestly, what have they done? Because I don't get it.
From a father standpoint as well, like I was like, oh, son, harrowing. I could relate to it. I was like, oh, God, I'd do anything for my son. And
if he were dead, I'd get it. Yeah. But Harry wasn't dead.
And like he turned around and he's like, what have you done? And like starts pushing Spider-Man. And I'm like, bro, he hasn't done anything. He saved your son. Your son's still alive. It felt
very like they needed to go, shit, we need to make sure Norman is the villain in the next one. How do we set that up? And they didn't know how, and they just kind of shoehorned. It felt shoehorned because I didn't get it. Because Harry is no better off than he was at the start of the game when he first gets the symbiote.
Yeah.
Like Harry has gone through
which his dad gave it
an equilibrium, a disequilibrium, back to the equilibrium, which is him being dying.
Yeah, and the symbiote's the thing his dad gave him.
Yeah, Norman is a knob.
Yeah, I did like as well. The origin story of how Lizard loses his arm. I thought that was quite cool. I thought that was quite a good way of doing it. For our listeners, he grabs the symbiote doesn't let him go, and they shoot his arm off. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that gives that a bit of context.
That was kind of harrowing. It was really good. The symbiote was amazing. Like the way it infected New York and everyone became these kind of symbiote monsters. It was kind of terrifying. It was giving kind of Fallout, the kind of ghouls from Fallout. That's what they reminded me of a lot.
What about Miles's new suit?
Right, okay. When I saw pictures of it, didn't like it because that was spoiled for me. But when I was playing it, I was like, do you know what? I actually don't mind it. Do you know what my biggest issue with this game is?
What?
They use Adidas instead of Nike.
My wife Molly went, I think I'll deal with Adidas in this game. I was like,
yeah. But why not Nike?
There is a reason.
I would rather he's bouncing around in those J1s than in a pair of. He was wearing bloody Adidas runners. Do you know what I mean?
No, but
I was like,
yeah,
what do you wear?
There is. I think there is a reason for it, and I think it's a licensing or
branding. Yeah. It's licensing. Yeah, it's 100%. But they got it for Spider-Verse, and I don't get it. But anyway, I didn't mind the Adidas looks. I think so. In terms of like the suits, Peter's were better. Overall, I think Peter's were better than Mars. Mars had a few good ones. Have you got the? I don't know if you've got which ones you haven't got. Have you got the Wolverine one?
Yeah, I'm missing 2 suits from Peter.
Oh, was that it? Have you got all of Mars? Yeah. Okay, I really like the Wolverine one.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. It was a nice little Easter egg for what's to come, I guess, from Insomniac.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that Wolverine might appear in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I've watched interviews with the creative director, Brian Itano. I don't know if I've said that right.
Are Insomniac setting up their own Marvel universe?
I think so.
Because if so,
but they did have a discussion about bringing Wolverine in, but apparently the discussion was actually they're making something really well. Let's let them cook.
Yeah. I think they should be separate entities. I wouldn't mind if he made a cameo. I wouldn't mind that. I don't need to play as him in Spider-Man 3, but I wouldn't mind seeing him there.
No.
Yeah, Peter's, some of the suits were gash, man.
Yeah.
Like, some of them I was like, why? All the Spider-Verse ones, great. My favourite Miles one is the one where he's like in the costume of Spider-Man, not the actual suit, but the kid's costume. Yeah. I also really like the one where he's got Spider-Man, the cat in the back.
Yeah.
In the bag. Really like that one. Like the Wolverine. Actually, to be fair, Miles does get some banging suits.
He does. And I read an article the other day and I was like, I actually completely agree with this. I think they need to go away from the MCU, though.
Yeah, you said this to me. I agree. I think I didn't care for Iron Spiders, for any of them.
No.
Or Tom Holland's suit, or anything like that.
Tobey Maguire's.
I was about to say it. That OG Spider-Man suit was clean.
And in black as
was
well.
so clean. I didn't use the black one. I just kept using that one. But then there was another one that I used. I can't remember which one it was. There's a few suits I was missing. I was hoping more from the first game would be in it as well. There was one that made Spidey look like a cartoon. Not like Spider-Verse-y, but like an actual cartoon
from the first one.
version of it.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised we didn't get Spider-Verse Peter Parker.
Yeah, with the sweatpants on.
Oh, just even the first Spider-Verse. Then,
anyway.
Yeah. But we got Noir.
Yeah, Noir was a bit of a weird shot. Like, I don't know why
you liked it.
I did, but I was like, it was a weird addition. Like, I do like, I love Noir. I think Nicolas Cage in Spider-Verse is brilliant casting.
Yeah,
but I think as a suit and wants to, especially coming off the Spider-Verse film, where there's like every known Spider-Man suit ever existing. I was like, okay,
I was expecting a few more.
I think we might get some DLCs where some suits might get pulled out and like, oh, here's like this.
I can't see it. They'll save it for 3, and obviously with 3, I can't see Peter being a playable. I think So my prediction for number 3.
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
Is that Peter's gonna? No, well, all right. We'll save that for a minute then. Yeah, no. Miles, overall, his suits they just felt very similar. And when he started getting ones with like big baggy pants, I'm like, that's not what I want. I want my Spider-Man suit to be like stuck to me.
And like hoods and stuff.
Yeah. I liked the hood one.
But like
I didn't mind the hood one.
Like
some
a
of the hood
symbiote
ones.
one that's like he's like a flowery thing. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't like that. And then there were the Game of the Year ones, not the Game of the Year ones, the pre-order ones.
They were naff.
They were like a lava one, which was quite cool. But the problem is I'm such a purist with the game. I'm like, I'm going to play this with the suits as intended to play as. And then I play.
Do you know what suit I was upset you didn't get for Miles?
What?
You get that suit when you're in Martin Lee's head. When Martin Lee puts you in your own head, and then you get this like nice, like sort of ghosty suit, and it looks sick. And then you don't get it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's annoying. Yeah, I don't know. I think the suits were great, but I was only using a handful. I didn't like a lot of them. I was a bit like, they're a bit out there. And I was like, I thought to myself, especially with Peters, I was like, they probably did a lot of his good ones in the first one. But there were a few that were in the first one that came back. Spider-Punk, Crimson Spider. Scarlet Spider, sorry.
And
a lot of those were in the first
Superior
one.
Spider-Man. And like,
yeah.
But then it's like
Iron Spider.
The one suit I really did like, and I do continue to play as, is because you get the, I'm going to say spoiler, but we've already been talking about it. You get the anti-venom suit, which is that's how they keep the venom.
Yeah, that's a cool suit.
But like when you go down, you can get like the animated series Venom suit.
Yeah.
Which is like jet black and like you've just got the white spider on the chest, and I was like bombing around New York in that. I'm like, this is great. And you can get like a little purple tinge on it as well, which is just like very much my childhood.
Sick. Sick.
Another thing I did like about the game was the pulling of the poles towards like
the slingshot.
Yeah, like that when you get like a proper, when you find the proper slingshots, and because you can slingshot anywhere,
they send you flying.
Yeah, like you're flying across the river and you just like, and you can just
mechanically,
like
the movement was because I was a bit like, what can you add to that to make it feel more dynamic and exciting? And it turns out there's a lot. I like that you have the ability to do a loop to loop.
Yeah,
that's sick. I was like, hell yeah. I didn't know I was going to enjoy them as much as I did, but I really liked the web wings.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the wind tunnels helped that a lot. I think if you didn't have the wind tunnels, the web wings would be really annoying.
There's a question. There's a question that I was going to ask you. After, so we'll go through the what your predictions are for the third one, and then we'll circle back to my question, and I would be keen to see what you think they should do.
What with the third one?
No, go with the third one, and then ask the question of like what. Okay,
so for the third game, I am predicting that Peter's going to die in the prologue.
Ooh, like a Joel sitch.
Or just I'm just picturing how.
Nah.
I'm picturing. Yeah, I do. I think.
I think. Yeah. I think coming off Last of Us 2, I think that's a bad move.
No, because it. Yeah, I mean, true, but that makes Last of Us 2 amazing in my eyes.
Oh,
It
true.
subvert. If you're subverting an audience expectation, I'm for it. Yeah, don't pander to the fans because the fans don't know bugger all. I'm not lying. We're fans, and I want to embrace whatever they throw at us. Yeah,
I agree.
if you don't want to see him die, don't play it. Just stick with Spider-Man 2. Everything's happy and happy as Larry there.
I do agree.
I think you'll play as him in the first prologue.
I don't think you.
And he's either going to die or he's just going to hang up his suit and he is. I mean, I know he's already kind of there at the end of the second one anyway, but I think he's going to be done. Or they could go the other way and he just will come. You won't play as him till the end.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. I don't think he's going to be. I think so. If you've played it, you'll know that they introduced Cindy Moon at the end of that, who is
someone had to Google
a variation. She's Silk, is essentially a version of Spider Woman, Spider Girl. Yeah, I mean that's what she is. So that does mean we might get all the female suits. It might mean we'll get Spider Gwen, which I'm super stoked to have that, and that will be the only suit I wear. If we get Spider Gwen, I will only use her. Absolutely her. And then I think villains. We're obviously getting Carnage.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. I don't think he'll be a main villain because he wasn't part of the main story. I think he'll continue to be a side character villain, like a side story villain. I don't think he'll be a central villain because they've already done the symbiote. Why are they going to do it again? I think the main villains, unfortunately, I not asked, but Doc Ock, I don't care.
Oh, Doc Ock's just my favourite.
No, yeah, but we've had it.
I know, but
we've done it.
So
like, I don't need it again. Like, there's so many Spider-Man villains. Although we've had a lot of them.
Yeah, and I'll be real with you though, my friend. We've had a lot of Green Goblin in a lot of mediums.
I know, but we've not had him in a game.
We have. Spider-Man 1.
Yeah. No, he isn't.
PS2, Spider-Man 1. Movie time.
No, yeah. We've not had him in these games.
No.
We were obviously going to get him at some point, right? We've had Doc Ock in previous games. It's like in the bin. I'm going to get Green Goblin. I can't think who else is left.
Rhino's dead. Scorpion's dead. Shocker's...
Rhino's not dead. But I don't think we'll be getting the Sinister Six.
No, but he's got... There's a thing where you go through the world and you find Rhino's head on a ball. Yeah. In that universe,
I think they wasted Mysterio.
Have you finished Mysterio?
You fight him.
Yeah, you fight him. Yeah,
that was a crap fight.
Was it?
So easy. You fight Mysterio, it's so easy. And it is him. Oh, actually, no, it's not. No, it's not him. Have you finished it?
I haven't done the Mysterio bits, but I do know that you fight him.
Yeah, it's not actually technically him.
It's like
It's quite an interesting little twist, but finish it. I don't know who else is left, man. I literally don't. We've had so many villains.
Yeah. Maybe bring not a Spider-Man villain in, bring someone in like Thanos, you know.
Thanos?
That'd be great.
No, who knows? I do think it's going to be... You made a joke, or I don't know if you were joking, that you thought it was going to be like 3 playable characters.
100%.
I don't think that's
100%.
No, I can't see that happening. That's too much.
100%.
I think I think for the beginning of like the first sort of third of that game, it was very wobbly, and I don't think they found the balance. I still don't overall think they found the balance between Peter and Miles in that game. And I know you went, it's a Miles game. It's not. It's just set up Miles being the main protagonist for the third game, but Peter was very much the main character of this game.
Let me tell you who the 3 purple characters are going to be.
Cindy, Miles.
Not Peter. So you'll get Cindy for the female audiences who wants to play Spider-Man, or the male audiences who wants to play Spider-Man.
Or the Tyler.
Yeah, or the Towers of the world who want Spider to play. You'll get Miles because he is their Spider-Man now, concurrent. He is who they are.
Also, whilst just quickly before you carry on, I before this game would have thought Peter would body Miles, but I'm telling you, Miles could absolutely destroy Peter now.
Yeah,
like
100%.
destroy.
And I
Anyway, carry on.
think the third character will be a symbiote, like Venom or
Carnage.
Well, I don't know if he plays Carnage. Carnage is just evil.
He is evil.
Like I think
Harry.
Well, you might play as like Eddie Brock, who gets the symbiote, and you become like an anti-hero. Like you're not evil, or you might even play as Harry, because I really just can't see. And credit to them if they do this, but I just can't see them fleshing out an entire combat segment and traversal and everything to do with Venom
And leaving
for a 10-minute gameplay sequence.
Yeah, that's fair
Either
enough.
give me a spin-off or put him in the third game where he's like literally
We're not getting a Venom game.
darting off buildings, like jumping across the buildings.
Yeah, I think we'll get Venom. I think that's a fair thing to assume. I've also thought of another villain. We might get Morbius or something.
I think we'll get fleshed out. I think maybe because there's a big gripe with the
because we'll probably get with Cindy Moon, we'll probably get like with all this because obviously Madam Web will be out by then.
Yeah.
We'll probably get all those suits as well.
Well, yeah. There's the I think we might get like a broader spectrum of like. I think Iron Man would pop up, and I think other Avengers would pop up because the whole gripe with this game is like some of these threats, like Venom, literally taking over the world,
and the Avengers Tower is right there.
Yeah, and the Avengers don't turn up, and the Baxter Building's there, like the Fantastic Four.
I don't think we'll see them because of copyright.
Oh, 100%. I think there'll be something in there.
I could see them introducing some sort of other characters. I think Wolverine will be in it.
Oh yeah, I think Wolverine will just.
I really do think Wolverine is going to be a prominent character in Spider-Man 3.
So,
final question.
We know Wolverine's coming out, and we know Insomniac are great at these sort of type of games. But cards on the table. What would you want Insomniac's next game to be? Like, we know Spider-Man 3 is coming, we know Wolverine's coming. If it was like, right, you run Insomniac and you've got carte blanche to make whatever you want, what would you see them make?
Marvel?
Anything.
I don't know. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Marvel. They're actually the only thing, Sony as a whole really, bar, their live action films.
Yeah.
Are the only ones that are keeping any sort of Marvel flame alight for me at the moment. So I wouldn't mind seeing more Marvel characters. I wouldn't mind seeing them exploring some other characters. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really know what I want. The trouble is I love Spider-Man, and my other favorite. So my 3 favorite Marvel characters are Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Venom. And within 2 years, I've had all 3. I've had all 3.
What about DC?
Nah, it's Warner Brothers anyway.
No, but like
Insomniac are never going to.
No, hypothetical. Like, it's not going to happen. You own.
But I've never liked DC. I don't care for DC other than Batman. I mean, if they made a bloody another polished Batman game, happy days. But I think they've been done so well by Rocksteady that we don't need that.
I think for me, it would be a Superman game, just purely off the glider.
I would like a good. I could see a substitute being a good Invincible game.
Yeah, that'd be a good shout.
Or The Boys. I'd love to do The Boys. I think Boys could be interesting.
I don't know how you do The Boys though, because like you're a human being. Like it'd be hard to do. I'd want Naughty Dog to do The Boys.
Yeah, you might be true. Yeah, I think they'd probably be the better people to do that. Something that's not really open world kind of. Yeah, I think Invincible from Insomniac. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
And because they have a crossover with Spider-Man, Invincible do. They could definitely introduce them.
Imagine the third game ends and you just see Spider-Man going, "Thanks, Omni-Man, for all your help."
You just Omni-Man going, and that's the neat part.
Yeah.
You don't. But yeah, so Spider-Man being the 6th of the Game of the Year nominations.
I didn't even say. I started watching Invincible Season 2.
Oh, that's another. We'll talk about that another day. So yeah, Spider-Man 2. If you haven't played it, please do. Like, it is just there's nothing like it at the moment. Gameplay wise, just it is leagues above anything else. Just when you think you haven't, just when you think you've done it all in this game, you haven't at all. All right, so go and play it. As much as I'd love to recommend that, that's not how we operate here. So you're lucky. We're going to give you an actual CNC recommendation, and I'm going to do another one this week because Josh did 2 in a row. I'm going to do 2 in a row, and mine is a video game. It's not a long game, probably about a 5-hour game, and it's called 12 Minutes. You don't look impressed, but I don't care. I really enjoyed this game. It's a fun sort of top-down game, very story-driven puzzle game that's also really frustrating and got a really good cast.
Okay.
So Josh doesn't like it, and I don't care
No.
because this isn't Josh's recommendation.
If
you haven't played
I didn't
it,
know you'd played this, so upon
Oh,
your
I love it.
recommendation, I may give it another go.
I really liked it. So it's got Willem Dafoe in it. He plays the villain. And James McAvoy plays the main character in the game. And I can't remember who else. Who plays the woman in it? It is Daisy Ridley. So, you know, a stellar little cast. And it's a really fun game. It's quite difficult. I found it quite difficult. It took me ages. But I was so... Once you start figuring out the details, it's like... Oh, this is interesting. And I don't know if you know the story and how it ends, Josh, but
No, I don't.
it's kind of messed up. So yeah, my recommendation for this week is 12 Minutes. You can get it on any console, even your phone.
Nice.